Now, if you know Dolly's case, then this case is pretty familiar. For me, it seems like it's the exact same thing that is happening. Um, the way they judge these crime and the way they judge these victims. And I am telling you 100% these two people are innocent, because you can almost see how they judge them. They judge them completely by character. And the bias that human nature has is unbelievable. It's kind of scary, really, because if you ever get into a situation where you survive something, you better be sure that you are shot in the head and survive, or something. Because these people, these biased prosecutor and even the media, people who don't know you, they will judge you so harsh that it's just unbelievable, just completely crazy. And the irony is, they call these victims psychopath. They call them crazy nutcase. But when I look at it, it's not them that are nut. It's these people who actually think they are doing things with good intention. The bias kicks in, and it's almost like what they're doing is completely rational and reasonable. It's like in the olden day where they think people are witches and they hang them and burn them, and they're not being evil, but they think what they're doing is correct. It's the right thing to do. And it's pretty scary. They don't even realize they are psychopaths. These prosecutors and these people who judge these victims. And I don't know if someday they will ever realize that. But I can tell you, no mother is gonna try and shoot their own kid, or stab their own kid, or barely survive and go and decides to go to the hospital to try and save their kids. People do not do that when the mother decides to kill her kid, or someone decides to kill someone. Why are they taking that risk to go get help when they're not even sure if the person they are trying to kill might survive and tell on them? I mean, it might happen, but when you listen to Diane's story, I can absolutely see how it can happen. I mean, some of them say, why would she stop in the middle of the night for some stranger? I mean, are you kidding me? If someone goes on the road and flag you down, all of you, you think any of you would stop? A person could not even flag you down. They couldn't even, they just have to cross the street. You would just stop. That's your natural instinct. You stop. If you don't live in a community where crime happen all the time, so you know you're not gonna stop for anyone. You run anyone down. But if you live where you barely have crime and all that, a good community, someone walking across the street, you're gonna stop. Now, and they question that. They say, why would you stop for a stranger at nighttime? Trust me, that's not something hard to believe. And when someone pull a gun at you, what do you think? You're gonna go, oh, I'm gonna hit on the gas and take off right away. I don't think you realize until you get someone pull a gun or pull a knife on you or do something. You don't know how you're going to react. Fear will kick in and you will freeze. And so I'm not judging her as how she is, like how everyone seems to be judging these victims. They judge them. They judge how they react. They're smiling. They're doing all these things. Yet they don't judge the crime scene. Again, they check the crime scene, and then later they get all these gossip going around, and then for some reason logic just flies out the window and bias becomes the reason they're doing all these things. They're convicting these victim. And the way she described things, the way that it happens, I mean, if some of you watch that or have watched this documentary or this crime, I'm not sure, just if you could put yourself in the situation where you know Diane didn't do it, did not, completely 100% she did not do it. Just if you can imagine that, if you can try and imagine that, then you can see how psycho these people, these prosecutors, these people who believe she's guilty looks. They look like some sort of psycho themselves. I really don't know how else to describe it. I can't believe how similar this case and Dolly's case is. They judge them by the way they smile, they act, how they do their hair. That's all they got. And these people, if they were the killer, why would they act so normal, so same? Like when you want to kill your kid, you must be really depressed. You must wanted something like the Susan Smith's story. She kills her kid and she can barely be able to smile because guilt, right? But I'm not saying that everyone's going to be like that. Her child is missing, yes, I can understand she's always crying or something, but sooner or later her guilt will get to her, right? She knows what she did. At some point she would not be the same person anymore. But these people, they're the same. They still smile, they still act like, hey, I didn't do anything wrong. I will go on to every single show. I will do everything I can to tell you that I'm innocent. And then when they do that, oh, they must love the limelight. They must be all full of themselves. They like the attention. See, bias will make you think all these things when you believe these people, when you believe a certain person is guilty. So I can tell you right now, I do not focus on how they act because, like I said, everyone is unique. You don't know how they will react in certain situation, but you just have to look at their scenario. Why would she shoot her own kid, then drive them to the hospital, knowing that they could survive? If she shot them in the head, one by one, same way, as they're sleeping, That would make more sense. There's no way they can survive when they go to the hospital, and she could just make that up. But they didn't. They they got shot at certain places, and just random. And the way she got away sounds logical to me. It can absolutely happen. And so I just cannot find any logical reason to see why she would just shoot her own kid and drive to the hospital. And then people go, well, didn't her daughter testify that her mom shot her, her sister or her brother? Come on. Are you telling me that this little girl who's in a coma, and when she woke up, what do you think the detective are doing? You think they're not biased? You think, oh, just tell us the truth. Just tell us what you remember. We're not going to influence you in any way. We're going to just let you tell the truth. Come on. Tricks are for kids. You know, it's just, come on. People need to realize that when you're biased, you're going to think what you're doing is right. They absolutely convince this little girl, who they have complete control over, they can pretty much make her say anything they want. They can make a grown man confess to something they didn't do, and you think they're going to have a problem convincing a little girl that her mommy shot her? Like, people need to wake up. People need to realize that this is how you are judging people. You are judging their character, how they act. And you can be completely wrong. And I try not to do that. But in some of these cases, it's like, I do not see any guilt in these people. Especially these two. There is no guilt. They are acting exactly the same way as they were before. Yes, they lost. They had a bad experience. But they survived. They could be feeling like, you know, they have a second chance in life. I don't know. But all I know is their story does not make logical sense of them wanting to kill their kid. When you have a kid in your life, when you are pregnant, what do you pray for the most? That you hope they're healthy, no? I mean, that's most people. You hope that they're healthy and well. Now you think you're gonna shoot your kid or do something, hurt your kid, and then try and rescue them just before they die, so that they can be paralyzed, they can so you can take care of them easier? Does that make any logical sense? And so you think she wanted them to die because she was driving slow, because if someone saw this? Two of them survived. She should have just stopped the car and waited. No, she didn't. She drove there as fast as she can. Who knows what these witnesses will say? When you're biased, anything will come out. But you just need to see the actual crime. How is it that someone would shoot their own kid and drive to the hospital when they know their kid could survive? What is more likely to be believed, that they're the killer or they just survive a horrible attack. But for some reason, like most of these cases, gossip takes over. And they begin to build up. And then the bias, our natural bias, kicks in. And it makes us insane. Because people are focusing on those things too much. And they will find any reason to think whatever they want to think. If they think they're guilty, then they're going to see it. They're not going to be able to change their mind. I can tell you, these two people, these two ladies will never say they killed their kid because they didn't. They will never. You will never make them say it because they know they didn't do it. That's how absolutely sure I am. You can put them away a million years. They're not gonna say it because they know they didn't do it. So I hope someday people will begin to wake up and realize these are not witches. That's what they are. That's what they're like right now to a lot of you. I don't know when people will wake up.